This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, I'm Alex and this is the Ramble. Go till midnight tonight, hopefully. Ladies and gentlemen, guess who's here? Steve Kravitz. Hello, Steven. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Alex?
I got my new cap here. I got U.S. Open for this year. Marjorie.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Marjorie always buys me a cap for the U.S. Open every year, so I have them for like every year for the last 10 years. So,
really?
Yeah. But how you doing? You doing okay?
Yeah. I went to a minor league baseball game on Sunday.
You told me you were going to go to the baseball game. How was it?
I sat in the front row.
Yeah.
Right behind home plate.
Wow.
Right behind home plate. I mean.
And you were lucky because you could do that since there was no one else in the stadium.
No, that's not true. It's full. It was full.
Yeah, really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
minor league baseball. It's big here in Worcester. Well, it's their inaugural season.
Yeah.
The Woo Sox.
They call them the Woo Sox?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And who are they? Are they a farm team for somebody?
The Red Sox. They're actually the Worcester Red Sox.
The Worcester Red Sox. Oh, and they call them the Woo Sox. I see.
Right.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
This is the third game I've gone to.
Do they play pretty good baseball?
Yeah, it's AAA. It's AAA. It's right before the majors.
Okay. These are all the people who are like waiting to get called.
Right.
And these are all the guys that years later will go, well, I was in the minors. I almost made the majors. Right.
This is a step below the majors.
Yeah. So, I mean, when they're going out to get new baseball players for the Red Sox, do they come and look at that team?
They look more at AA because they look at potential, whereas AAA, they think they've kind of peaked.
So maybe
what you see in AAA is you see a lot of guys from the Boston Red Sox rehabbing in AAA.
Doing what?
Rehabbing.
What's rehabbing?
Rehabilitation.
Oh, really?
Like an injury.
Okay. I thought when you said rehabbing, all I could think of was they all had a drug problem.
Right. I have to clarify that.
Yeah.
It's for physical injuries.
Wow. Well, that's pretty good, you know?
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Got together with the whole family on Saturday. That was a lot of fun. They played paintball where they, threw the paint at each other.
They threw the paint?
Right, they threw the paintballs. And they were a mess.
Wait a minute.
They were covered from head to toe in paint.
Wait a minute. They didn't actually have paintball guns.
Right, they just threw the little pellets.
They threw the paintballs.
Right.
Huh.
And they all wore white T-shirts.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, it looked like a Grateful Dead concert. It looked like all tie-dye.
Now, is that all washable?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
In theory, it's all washable.
Yeah, but I don't know why you don't go with the paintball guns. They're fun.
Well, because then you got to wear helmets and goggles and gloves.
I see. Yeah, with this, pretty much yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is so nobody gets hurt.
Do you ever remember laser tag?
Yes.
I thought that was a pretty good idea. In fact, they came out with home kits where you could actually play laser tag at home, and you wore these little things on you that
like a vest.
Yeah, where people had to try and hit you, you know.
Right.
And then you would do a little laser tag. And it was completely harmless. There's no paintballs. There's nothing, except light. And
it's still going on, Alex. I think it's still going on.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just an old guy, and I don't know where the closest laser tag is.
Well, neither do I, but I see commercials for it.
Well, you're an old guy, too.
Well, thanks. Thanks, Alex.
No, you're younger than me. You're a punk compared to me, but you're still old to. Let me put it this way. If you went out to a bar and there were a lot of 30-year-old women, okay?
I wouldn't stand a chance.
You'd be old, okay?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Icky old.
I knew I was getting old, and this was years ago. It was
Right.
years ago. I was in my 40s when I came on to a woman, and she said, are you married? And I said, no, I'm not. She says, you're available? I said, yeah. She says, I got a mother at home I think might be interested.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. See you later.
Right.
That's all she wrote, you know.
That's life, Alex.
Yeah. So those were the good old days.
Yeah, we had our opportunities when we were young.
Yeah. I don't feel bad about it. Okay, that
Right.
it doesn't exist anymore because I had a really good time
Oh yeah.
while
so
I
did
was going at it, and I probably bedded down more lovely women and intelligent women
Yes.
in my time, and I don't regret any of it. I would regret it today because they'd probably charge me with rape or something, you know.
Right. Or
Yeah.
the woman would just be not satisfied.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm going to bring this up. I did this. I talked about this last night, and nobody tended to agree with me. But I just am kind of befuddled by what's going on with Andrew Cuomo. Okay?
Oh yeah.
And what
Right.
befuddles me is the most recent thing, and you're going to love this, is they keep saying, well, there's a state trooper, you know, that he came on to, and she says
Right.
she was groped, and everybody goes, oh yeah, and she's a state trooper. Well, I mean, what makes her so honest? Because she's a state trooper.
Right.
They lie,
Right.
They lie all the fucking time, you know.
Right.
And they used to single out black people when they were giving tickets. So don't give me state troopers are unimpeachable. Here's what happened, okay? And it was just fascinating. Wait a minute, hold on a second. He, according to this, now wait a minute, where is it? Oh, I lost it, I guess.
Is that the one where he reached under her shirt and groped her?
No, this is the other groping of the state trooper, the unimpeachable state trooper.
Right.
The governor, right, placed his finger on the back of the trooper's neck, standing behind her in an elevator to Manhattan at his Manhattan office, tracing a path to her spine with the two-word narration, "Hey, you." Is that rape? Is that groping? What is that?
I don't know what that is. That's
You know-
some guy trying to hit on some girl.
Well, that's what we used to call it, but I guess you can't hit on a girl anymore because they say they're looking into, especially in that case, criminal charges. I mean, if that's criminal charges, then in my lifetime I would have gotten the death penalty. You know?
Yeah, I would have been right behind you.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth.
I mean, what is the line between flirtation and molestation? And I think it's a pretty wide berth there. And
Right.
what this
It's very subjective.
What this amounts to is flirtation. Maybe unwanted flirtation, but flirtation nonetheless.
Right. I think if it's unwanted, that's when you start crossing the line.
Well, they say unwanted, but that's how can I put it? That's subjective. Maybe
Right. Well, it's all subjective, Alex.
at the moment, how unwanted was it? And now that there's a possibility you can sue him for money, how
Right.
unwanted was
Right.
it? You know, I mean, I just don't understand it that we're equating what he did in the same category as Harvey Weinstein, or in the
Right.
same category
Right.
as Bill Cosby, or in the same category as any number of people. I think what it does is it diminishes what a sexual assault really is.
Right.
You know,
Right.
which is
Right.
horrible and terrible. But let's not
Right.
diminish all the women who've truly been molested in their lifetime, who truly
Right.
have been raped. by equating what he did with that, and then we have to throw him out of office, and then you get all these politicians lining up because they want to seem like they're real heroes with their constituents.
Right. Even Biden called for his resignation.
And for all these people that are calling for his resignation, nobody's asked the New Yorkers what they feel.
Right.
You know, I'm sure if he ran tomorrow with all this baggage, if he ran tomorrow, he'd get reelected.
You think so, huh?
Absolutely.
He's doing that good of a job.
He's doing that good a job, yeah. I mean,
really?
I like to say, I make the quote all the time, he saved my life.
How's that?
By attending to the COVID situation.
Oh, okay.
And the way that he did, and taking the highest level of infection anywhere in the country. I mean, it was so bad, they were setting up tents outside of hospitals, okay?
Right.
To the lowest in the country, or the third lowest. I mean, come on. And that was all through him getting on the air every day and giving a pep talk and telling people what was going on. And we relied on him. And he did his job.
Right.
And really, that's what should count, is him doing his job. You know, I mean, if he did something horrible like rape one of these women, which he didn't do, if he did anything that would scar them for the rest of their lives, I would say, okay, go after him. But none of these cases approach that. I mean, let me ask you a question. How many times have you been on a date with a woman, you're in the car, you're kissing a little bit, and you stick your hand under her sweater to see that's kind of you investigating whether she's interested. Right. And then if she says, pardon me, don't do that, you simply would move your hand away.
You don't do that.
Okay. So what is that? Is that groping? Is that flirtation? What is that? You know, I want a redefinition of all these things. They redefine.
Well, if you're already kissing, you know what I mean? That's pretty intimate right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kissing is very intimate. That's why prostitutes don't kiss.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. But the other thing is, he moved his hand up some woman's blouse.
Right.
How do you do that without first getting a little flirtatious? In other words, feeling the moment out, okay? I mean, would you just go up to a woman and stick your hand up her blouse? No, I don't think so.
No. I don't want to get smacked.
And he only did it, he only supposedly did it this once, which means it isn't something he did all the time.
Right. Right.
I mean, there were people like Harvey Weinstein who would invite women up to his place, up to his room, and then he would say, I'm going to get comfortable and take my pants off.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing. And then eventually he would actually wind up doing what we would define as rape. Okay?
Right.
I agree with those who say, well, if you're using your power to get laid, that's wrong. But, you know, my question is, what is power? If their job is dependent upon you, this is what they're arguing with Cuomo. Their job is dependent upon you, then you're using your power to get laid.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But apparently he didn't get laid in any of these cases. He just touched the woman. In most of these cases was verbal. You know?
Right.
Boy, that's a hot dress you're wearing today. Oh, I'm so upset. It's going to scar me for the rest of my life. I don't know. I mean, my feeling is, if you ask the people of New York, do they want this guy to be governor? He's being real. There's an election next year. Can't you wait?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Let the people of New York decide. I'm telling you right now, I'd vote for him. You know? But I don't like this lynch mob that has gotten up behind, you know, Biden and Schumer and Gillibrand. She's terrible.
Right.
I mean, what she did to Al Franken was just. I'll vote for a goddamn right wing, gun-toting asshole before I'd vote for Kirsten Gillibrand. Okay.
Is that right?
Oh yeah.
What did she do to Al Franken?
She was the one who started the lynch mob, saying after he took that picture pretending like he was grabbing a woman's breast in a plane,
Right.
that he resigned, and she forced him to resign. She was the main lead on this whole thing of saying, "No, he's got to quit. He's got to leave the Senate. That's not the kind of person we want in the Senate." First of all, he was maybe the most liberal of
Right.
all the Democrats. Okay,
Now, did he actually grab somebody's breast, or was it Photoshop?
it was a gag photo they took.
Oh, okay.
With this one, she even said it was a gag photo. He didn't actually grab her breasts, but they took
Right.
a photo of her like she was asleep, okay, and he was about to grab her breasts.
Okay.
That was all. Does that mean you have to leave the Senate because you took a photo like that?
Well, apparently it does.
Well, Kirsten Gillibrand forced him out. And ever
Right.
since then, I've hated the woman. Just hated her. And here she goes again. You know, I mean,
Right.
and the trouble with the Democrats is something like this. See, if this happened to a Republican, all the Republicans would be standing up for Cuomo.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
But the Democrats, they have a wonderful ritual called "Let's Eat Our Own."
Right.
You know, and Kirsten Gillibrand gets hungry every now and then, and she has to eat her own.
Now, what state is she from?
New York. She's a senator from New York.
Oh, is that right?
And then that hack Schumer went along with her. Yeah, he's got to resign.
Right.
And the mayor of New York, who hates him, said he's got to resign. It really is, you know, it's a terrible mess in which I think, yes, he probably didn't act properly. All right?
Right.
I'll tap him on the wrist for that. Hey, bad boy, you know, you weren't acting properly. But I don't think any of these women, no matter what, will be scarred for life because of this. You know, like some of the
It's just it's the temperament of the country right now.
it's the zeitgeist, as they call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the tone of the times. And I mean, I think, you know, let's reserve this kind of outrage for
Right.
Harvey Weinstein. I mean, I've seen the record of Harvey Weinstein. It's horrible. Everybody knew in Hollywood that he was doing what he was doing for years. And you know, it was pretty egregious.
Right.
What Bill Cosby allegedly did was drug women, and then while they were passed out, have sex with them. Which, you know, I'm sorry, I like my women in some kind of a lucid state so I can hear
Yes.
them go ah. You know.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but that is terrible. That is horrible. That is just so egregious. It goes beyond horrible. You know.
Right.
So
Right.
you
Right.
go to
Right.
these cases, and yes, these people should be taken care of, prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Didn't Cosby get out of jail on a tech?
Yeah, on a technical. Yeah, but putting your finger on somebody's neck and moving it down their spine and saying, "Hey, you." What is that? Is that with the same thing Harvey Weinstein did? The same thing Bill Cosby did? You know?
No.
Does it?
No, but
if he's going to be punished, does he need to be punished in the same way these people were punished? You know, I mean,
well, I don't think he has to serve jail time, but they're gonna probably force him out of office.
well, yeah. But I'll tell you, they got on me last night because I've said this about, you know, Louis C.K. Great,
Yeah.
great comic, and a nice guy. He no longer can get work because he got accused by 3 women who were comedians who came up to his room, and then he said, "Do you mind if I pull my penis out?" And none of the women said no.
But they didn't say yes.
They didn't say yes, but they didn't say no. He asked for permission, and none of them said no. None of them said, "Well, I'm sorry, I can't put up with this, I'm leaving."
Right.
He sat there and pulled his penis out while they stared at it. Well, he can't work anymore. What, for being a gentleman and asking permission?
Well, come on, it's still kind of odd.
Oh, it's odd. And it's
I mean,
strange.
is that something you would ever do? It's not something I would ever
No,
do.
because I don't want to show my penis to a bunch of anonymous women, you know.
Right.
But at least he didn't just pull it out. He asked ahead of time, which gave people a chance to leave if they wanted to. So, you know, you have to give a little responsibility to the women who wouldn't leave the room. And yet his whole career is like, and is that on the level of Bill Cosby? Is that on the level of Harvey Weinstein? No. No way. So it's not even. Maybe it's a little more egregious than Cuomo. Cuomo didn't pull out a penis. Cuomo didn't have sex with any of these women. Most of them were just based upon comments he made.
Right.
You know, one woman says he put his hand up my blouse. Another woman said, you know, he put the finger on the neck and moved it down. And that's the crux of it. Do you really think he should be thrown out as governor for that?
Do I think so?
Yeah.
No.
No. If you want to tap him on the wrist, say, bad boy, this was not good behavior. Stop that.
Right.
Or we want to hold an investigation into the toxic environment in your office.
Right.
That would be, I think, quite appropriate.
Now, these women looking to get compensated?
Yes.
Well, motivation, right?
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, how far does it have to go? You know, I don't get it. I really don't get it. And maybe it's just me. I'm an old guy and I'm living by old rules. But I had my idea of how I handled things. I never wanted to make any woman feel uncomfortable with anything that I did. Okay. But I would sometimes come on to them, and then if they looked like they weren't interested, then I backed off.
Right.
You know, but just that approach of coming on to them. If I were Cuomo, it would be one of the women complaining about me right now.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So where does flirtation end and molestation start? You know, that's the question.
Alex, that's so subjective.
Yeah. I mean, come on. The guys are going to be flirtatious with women. You know, I asked my wife, Marjorie, I said, if Cuomo came on to you, what would you do? I said, I'd let him keep coming on to me. She said, you know, good-looking guy, great, terrific personality, real masculine Italian personality. She said, I'd probably let him go ahead, you know. But how's he going to find out whether somebody's interested or not without getting flirtatious?
Yeah, but I wouldn't stand beside a woman I didn't know and put my finger on her neck and rub it down her spine.
No, but this was a woman he knew. This was a state trooper who was guarding him all the time.
Oh, so he knew her well.
He knew her well, yeah.
Well, that's different.
No, I wouldn't take it. You know, I wouldn't do it to. I don't think he even would have done it to a stranger.
Right.
You know, but you know what was wrong is that he was stupid. He
crossed boundaries.
Well, he was stupid.
It's like he has no boundaries.
Well, he had to know that he was being stupid, because you just don't do that sort of thing if you're in the position he has. Okay?
You don't do that kind of thing anyway.
Well, I mean, but getting flirtatious in your
No. That's not really standing behind a woman, and that's your first move is to put your finger on her neck and slide it down her spine.
Yeah.
That's your first move?
Well, I guess that's his move. I don't know. You know. No. I would never do that. Well, I would never do that. You know, but the question is, does it rise to the level of molestation? Does it rise to the level of sexual aggression?
Well, like you said, in his office, he created an atmosphere that was not conducive to women.
No, that was not. Well, as they say, a toxic atmosphere. I hear he was a piece of shit to work for. I hear he was just a tough guy. You know, he ran the place like it was his fiefdom. And I can understand why people don't like him, and why now that there's a chance to go get him, they're doing it.
Sure.
See?
Wouldn't you?
But because he wasn't a great boss is not the reason to, you know, say, well, we're looking at criminal charges. What, for moving your finger down a woman's spine and saying, hey, you? Oh boy, let's give him life in prison for that one.
Well,
It's just,
that one I think is community service.
I think it's too much, okay? I just think it diminishes what rape is and what molestation is and what, that kind of thing is.
Right, right.
And it's terrible, But anyway, I don't know. So everybody's mad at me because I'm defending Andrew Cuomo. And I'm defending him because I think he's a good governor and he should stay governor. And if you want to yell and scream at him and you want to file a sanction against him, go ahead.
Right. Right.
Don't push him out of office. He's done too good a job. And what these things do not rise to the level of sexual assault, okay, under any conditions. So
right. They just make it like you said, a toxic atmosphere at the workplace.
Yeah, he certainly doesn't have people who like him.
Right.
And so this is their chance to get even.
There you go.
Yeah, and I think that should not be the reason for us to say, okay, he should be out of office. I've read everything that they've said he did, and it's amazingly minor. So I don't get it. Hey, listen, we've already eaten up 25 minutes. And
really?
Yeah. Always nice to talk to you.
Always good to talk to you, Alex, and to the people at home.
If I stopped doing my show at any point every night, I would still do these with you and post them on the web.
Right.
They're really good. Take care of yourself. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Alex.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Bye, folks.
His name is Steve Kravitz. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Alex.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Well, there's absolutely no one waiting to talk to me tonight. So therefore, I guess we won't do a show. Or at least any more of a show. I may just call it off right now, and we'll say to hell with it. Because I'll tell you, I after last night, I pretty much had it with this whole thing. Because someone like myself can't have an opinion without people getting, let's say, nasty about it. Okay, all right. So I walked out of here yesterday feeling very, very depressed because I have an opinion about this whole Cuomo thing, and it's my opinion. It is simply my opinion. I have no more, no less than an opinion, and that's the main thing. It's an opinion about my opinion is based on my sense of fairness in this world and justice and us having our priorities be right. But I'll tell you what's happened. We've gotten into such a toxic atmosphere that you can't have an opinion without somebody going, oh, that's terrible, let's go after him, let's fire him, And I've been in the middle of a lot of this from time to time in my career where because I had an opinion about something, I'll give you a good example. Years ago, I had an opinion about Sam Kinison, who was a comedian. And he did a lot of material in his act about gays and so on and so forth. And I said, I like Sam Kinison. Immediately, some of the gay militants in San Francisco wanted a meeting with the radio station. How dare Alex Bennett say that Sam Kinison was a good comic? Oh, listen to the horrible stuff that he does. We don't want Alex Bennett to like Sam Kinison any longer. And I just went, this is bullshit. As it turned out, I later on went on and did a lot of nice things for the gay community, not as a result of that, but because I wanted to. I was prior to this whole incident, I was the first guy to ever say on his radio program to the comedians on it, no AIDS jokes. AIDS is not funny, okay? There's one night I was watching television, they showed somebody with AIDS, And I said, boy, it's horrible. What a horrible, debilitating disease. And I said to the next day, the comedians that were coming in, I said, new rule on this program. No more AIDS jokes, because the reason you're telling AIDS jokes is you find AIDS funny because gays get it. And so therefore it's homophobic. So that was prior to them and their little meeting with us. And I finally just told them to go fuck themselves and said, you're going after somebody who's on your side. You ought to pick your fights carefully, because you don't want to lose people who are on your side. And eventually they kind of apologized for the whole thing. And, you know, and we made nice. I mean, you know, but all I'm saying is that we live in a time where if you have an opinion, all of a sudden, you know, people stop following you on Facebook, and they stop subscribing to you on YouTube, and they don't like you anymore because your opinion is not the way they see the world. Okay? Now, last night I had an opinion about the whole Cuomo deal, and it was what you heard me with Steve Kravitz a few minutes ago. Basically, my take was that, you know, it does not rise to the level of sexual assault. All right? Unwanted stuff, yeah, sure. Tasteless, I'll go along with you on that. The guy is a sleazebag, I'll give you that too. But it wasn't Harvey Weinstein, it wasn't Bill Cosby, it wasn't any one of a number of people who have done this sort of thing and really damaged people and ruined their lives. I don't think any of these women is going to be ruined by this action. In fact, some of them, it looks like, might even get a little money out of it, because I think quite a few of them are thinking of suing him. By the way, let's also mention that the Attorney General of the state of New York is one of the people considering running for governor if Cuomo doesn't run. And this guy Kim was, I think he's a Republican, and he was running for, I think, mayor or something like that. There was something back, I just seem to remember in the back of my mind, some kind of little dust up with this guy. So, I mean, the people who were doing this weren't exactly of impeccable credentials. Okay, so anyway, I don't want to get into all of that all over again. But after last night's show, I said, look, I don't need this anymore. I really don't need this anymore. You know, I have a little opinion. It doesn't agree with yours. No reason to get nasty and mean and foul and you know, create a horrible situation. So that was that. We only have 2 people waiting to get on tonight. I guess I alienated everybody, okay? And it only feeds my feeling that I'm really probably going to bring this whole thing to an end. What I might do with the show is turn it into pre-recorded stuff with interviews that I do with the people that I now do it with, and put those up online, and then do my little Monday thing, which is very nice, and nobody ever gives me a bad time about that. And I've just, you know, I've just had it. I've had it up to here, okay? And, you know, so I'm really considering bringing this all to a screeching halt as it is right now, and changing the whole way in which we do this show. And but I'm tired enough as it is when we get to this time of night now. And I hate, you know, I'm not in any great shakes to do a program in most cases lately. And being that I'm tired all the time, why should I exhaust myself by doing this every night? Only to have people, you know, just belittling me for my opinion, you know, and I don't like that. And it doesn't make me happy at all. Anyway, let me put some people on here who are waiting. We have about 4 people waiting, so we'll just admit them all and let them come on here. There's Robert Natali, and there's Jeff, and there's Alan, and there's Tony. Hello, Tony. How are you doing tonight? Are you good?
Yeah, I see you took some heat. I mean, I see on your page like you can't even when
I put on my page. I put something up today that I said, is this what do you call it? I can't remember what I said exactly. Is this
groping?
Groping. And then I wrote, I took a thing out of an item about the incident that happened with the state trooper, and I was just asking, is that groping? That's all I was asking. And people were writing like, well, fuck you, that isn't, and all I did was ask a question.
No, you didn't.
Oh, shut up.
No,
Robert, come on.
No, Alex, come on.
Robert,
you're giving an opinion.
Robert, I was asking an
Alex, what do you
question.
work for fucking Gallup suddenly and you're taking polls?
No, I am. Wait a minute. Opinion. Hold on a
Alex.
second. Robert, I have a website and a Facebook page. And on that Facebook page, I sometimes like to ask questions that will elicit answers.
When was the last time you did that?
About a week ago.
I don't think so.
Yes, I did.
What was the question?
I can't even remember.
Because it was that long ago.
Why am I being subjected to this?
Alex, when did you
Why am I being subjected to this on my
I'm
program?
sorry. I'll let you finish and then give me a phone call.
No, I'm
Alex,
not going to give you a phone call.
Why are you making...
I have an opinion, okay? Big deal. Then today I ask an academic question.
Oh my God.
What do you mean, oh my God? You're questioning
No, go on.
You're questioning my motives. Are you in my brain?
Go on, Alex.
No, are you in my brain?
Go on, Alex.
Do you know what's going on in there? Do you know why I put that up there? Because I saw that and I said, here's something I could ask people. May I ask
you a question, or are you going to just talk over everyone?
Oh, well, I might talk over everyone because this is my show.
Okay, well then I guess I'll just sit and listen. Alex.
This is the last night I'm doing this. It's over.
Alex.
Through. I am through. Okay?
Alex.
I am through.
Alex, did you hear a video clip today, an audio clip today from the governor? Did you happen to hear the audio clip? In his rebuttal yesterday, he said there was one woman, one complainant, who had been sexually assaulted before him. And in his rebuttal, he claimed that his attempts to reach out to her were merely to help her. And so what do we hear today? But an audio clip of Cuomo singing his version of Do You Love Me? This is his idea of helping her?
Who put out that?
It was all over the news this morning, Alex. There's an audio clip.
I watched the news today and I didn't see it.
Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
Well, apparently if I didn't see it and I watched the news a lot today, it wasn't that fucking important.
Alex, do you really think that was helpful to that young lady?
I don't know what that is all about. I don't even know what you're talking about.
You know, congratulations, Alex.
Oh,
you've become a Republican.
You know something?
You've
It's people like you that makes me want to become a Republican.
No, you're already there. You've whitewashed the investigation.
You're a fucking Democrat that eats his own.
I'm not a Democrat, so you're wrong.
That eats his own.
You've whitewashed the investigation.
No, I haven't.
You've made the investigators crooked.
How dare you call me a Republican?
You know what? Fuck you, Alex. Go fuck yourself. You know what? You're a fucking hat.
And that's it for my show, ladies and gentlemen. No more after right now. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Okay. That's exactly what I refuse to put up with. You
didn't deserve that.
No, I didn't deserve that.
No. I don't know. Last night was a different story. Tonight he came in with both barrels loaded, and I don't know. I mean, Well, why can't you have your own opinion?
Yeah.
But
I mean, he owes me an apology.
Yeah.
you that? Yeah, I think you do.
After calling you a Republican, yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, if I owed you an apology, he definitely owes you an apology.
Yes.
Alex,
Absolutely.
can I say something about the Facebook page?
What about it? Yeah.
Like when I'm not trying to name it. Like when I posted up just because I was following a thread, and I was just reading it, and it's almost like even if you, I don't know what I said to the effect like, let everything play out. Let him, if everything comes to fruition, if he gets whatever they have to do, let it play out. These people just want making innuendos about me, not that I care. I don't even know these people. Like they're smart. It's like, listen, do I think he's guilty? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I think you have such a rush to judgment. Like if you disagree with somebody, that's it.
That's not what this is all about. I'll tell you what this is all about, and what really bothers me. Okay, is that the fucking Democrats are eating their own. They always do this. You got to say one thing about the Republicans. A Republican can fucking, diddle a little girl. I mean, you got a guy like Gates or whatever his name is, and they don't do anything about it. He's still on committees. He's still doing everything. This governor has this happen to him. And they all jump on top of him, want him to quit. Well, you know something? Fuck the Democrats. They eat their own. And that's really the reason they're losers. Okay? And so I've decided to become a Republican.
No way.
Why not? Yes,
Hi.
absolutely.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I haven't been on the show for a few days, but anything going on new?
Yeah, I mean, it's
all I will say is I am a man of power at my company.
Yeah.
And if I were to do something, I would be in a lot of trouble.
Of course you would.
And Alex, that's from.
Listen, I'm not saying
anything. If somebody felt uncomfortable, they could go to HR, and I would be, depending on what it was.
He's stupid. He's stupid to have done this, okay? Yeah. But my point, you want to know something, I may be wrong about this. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But when Hillary Clinton was made Secretary of State, who was appointed the senator from New York? Kirsten Gillibrand. Okay. Now my question is, which governor did that? Was that what's his name? The guy the guy went to the prostitute. Another guy who come on, he went to a prostitute. Big deal.
I thought it was the guy the blind guy.
Oh no. Well, maybe. Well, he's a friend of mine. I'll have to ask.
What was his name? I forgot.
God, my mind's all. I'm so upset by what just happened.
No, man, the guy.
I can't even think straight.
I couldn't believe it. Robert's getting all under the what? Who the fuck cares what your opinion is? Why is he getting all uptight?
I would reword that, John.
No. It's an opinion.
Alex, exactly. I'll be honest with you. I don't agree with you, but I'm not going to argue with you. That's your opinion, and that's cool. But what's fucking Robert? He's going all nuts.
Well, he was like acting like I was on the witness stand or something.
Yeah, it's almost like you're taking.
I like Robert a lot, but the show last night, if you listen to the show, I was listening to the whole show. I was doing something else, and I mean, it was like the Alex and Robert show. He was just blasting back and back and back, no matter what your opinion was. So, yeah.
I couldn't believe that. I was like, well, what the fuck?
And that's his opinion and not mine. I mean, I have my opinion on it, and I like I said.
Look, we're all welcome to our opinion, but I mean,
including you.
To begin with, he's trying to tell me why I post something or don't post something. I mean, does he follow my brain around all day long?
Exactly. I don't know.
To see what I'm thinking? I mean, I just, it's the kind of thing just these days is just getting me very depressed.
I'm telling you, I'm worried about everything now. I feel like it's a civil war we're on the brink of in a different way, though.
Well,
non-vaxxers, the vax.
Now Tony's starting to sound like a Republican.
You're not allowed to have an opinion that is counter to somebody else who's trying to be politically correct. You know?
I'm a little confused with the whole thing now.
Yeah. Hi, Kevin. How you doing?
Phil might call in now. He thinks you're a Republican.
Yeah, how are you?
Kevin, how you doing, Kevin?
Don't let that bother you, Alex. I mean, I know it's a bunch of bullshit, but I caught the tail end of it, and I was listening to it downstairs, and I wasn't going to call in until I saw that going on, and Robert is a well-spoken person, but I think he was out of hand tonight. I think he was a little bit overboard. He accused you of not letting him talk, yet he wouldn't let you talk.
Yeah.
And was an uneven exchange that was happening there. And it was probably best that he just bail out like he did.
Well, to my credit, I didn't hang up on him. And I could have.
He bailed on himself, and that's probably the best thing that could have happened.
I was going to keep him here.
I respect Robert and his opinion. He's got a good opinion, but I don't know what was going on tonight. But I think that
he has a very strong opinion.
Was a little bit different tonight than normal. I understand what he was trying to say, and I understand his opinion.
There was some kind of insanity going on.
Yeah, I understand.
I have
his
no
opinion,
idea what it was,
But
yeah, I thought you guys were friends.
It's got to be. It has to go both ways.
I guess he won't be on tomorrow night.
Oh, he might be on. Oh, that's right. That's his spot.
That's his.
And
spot.
I'd like to say I saved the show again because I called in and you're about ready to close everything off. So
yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I can always count on you.
How is New York doing with the virus? Everything's pumping up here again. They're going to do masks inside, and everything's going crazy.
They are doing masks inside here in the Bay Area.
Well, but I don't know. I think that I don't think it's over with.
And it's everything with the Delta variant. This is a new virus,
But my question to you is, okay, given the Delta variant and all of that, if everybody had gone out and gotten vaccinated, or at least 90% of America got vaccinated, would the Delta variant have grabbed on like it has?
No.
I think everybody would have to have done it right away. Just like testing, if they do testing right away, if they would have done the vaccine right away like they did testing, I think we wouldn't have.
Now, I've got to say that they got to do something about the goddamn CDC, because the CDC is sending lots of wrong messages.
You would think Trump's in charge again.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But Trump had the CDC, every other week it changed their opinion.
I don't care about what the CDC says. I want to see the data. So in every area is different. Our area is different from some of these rural areas and so forth. So that's what I want to see. I want to see how this Santa Clara County is doing and the neighboring counties, because that's what's important to me. I don't care about New York. I don't care what CDC says. I just want to know how we're doing.
You got to know what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Positivity rate,
and that's all you should care about.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the 0 to 17, everything's picking up really high for them, and here we go, school starting, and.
Well, didn't I see something about Marin County is suddenly having a surge or something?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was looking earlier today, and where you're living, Brian, in Santa Clara County, it was the lowest positivity rate. It was like 3% in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I'm being a little bit more cautious though right now.
Oh, me too.
Not as low as our positivity rate. We're about 1 or something. Like that.
Unfortunately, it'll go up. So.
But all the kids are spiking everywhere. 0 to 17, they say, is really bad right now.
But now 0 to 17 can't get it, right?
What'd you ask?
0 to 17 can't get the vaccine.
0 to 12.
0 to 12,
yeah.
Yeah, 12 and older they are. So my kids are vaccinated.
Yeah.
I still, at CNN they talked about, like you talked about the other night, the FDA.
Well, is Adrian vaccinated?
No.
She
She wears a mask. Even now, we all start wearing masks again. But even before, she knew. She says, "I'm not vaccinated, so I have to wear a mask." You know, she has her dance competition class. She wears a mask during that. So.
Now, at her age, though, if she came down with COVID, would it be dreadful, or would it just be?
They're showing a lot of high numbers right now. That it's dreadful. I don't see
absolutely
dying,
children are starting to die of it.
Yeah.
If all these anti-vaxxers had got the vaccine, the kids wouldn't be at risk like this, and we wouldn't be back to wearing fucking masks again.
So Alex, Marin County is at 15.6 per 100K on average new cases per day, on average.
Is that high or is that low? I can't figure that out.
Well, 15 out of 100,000.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
Unless you're one of those 15.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It says daily new cases 15.6 per 100K. Then it says very large number of new cases averaging 40 per day. So I don't know what that means. Is it 40 per K or 15.6 per 100K? I don't know.
But it's picking up in Florida, the teenagers also.
Oh, Florida.
And that day, Santos is just saying, I don't want to talk about this pandemic. He's an idiot.
One-third of all cases in the United States are in Texas and Florida.
Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely.
I mean, those governors should be taken out behind the woodshed and shot.
Yes.
You know?
I'll supply the bullets.
Yeah.
No, give him COVID.
The people who say I'm threatening a governor, these are people who have killed their population, you know, and are not taking care of them, and should be absolutely ashamed of themselves.
Agreed.
You know, I mean, what we're working to take out a governor here because he ran his finger down a woman's back, but you got two governors who have like killed hundreds of thousands of their citizens
and their visitors. Both states
and their visitors as well, and they're allowed to stay in office. Are you kidding me?
And we've got a recall going in California.
Yep.
Then you got a recall going in California for nothing. For nothing.
No, we're spending $215 million to do it. Too.
Yeah, but you know why you've got that going on in California?
Because the
critical race theory.
Republicans think it's a way of getting in there, and they're wasting the state's more money.
And you know who is leading the polls right now? I saw last night 23%. Well, actually, 40% are undecided, but 23% are Larry Elder of all fucking people.
Larry Elder. Yeah.
Hey, did you see the debate tonight? They had the California debate tonight.
No.
That was a clusterfuck.
Yeah, and Larry Elder didn't show up, or
Perfect.
Caitlin, whatever her name.
Jenner.
Perfect.
Or
they were probably on a date.
And Gavin Newsom was invited, but he turned it down, obviously.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren is doing commercials for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
Elizabeth Warren is there. She's saying, you're going to get you this in the mail. She goes, fill it out, and da-da-da-da. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's just a big scam is all it is. Just
Yeah, and I'm going to have to sit in 4 days, sitting in a poll station for 4 days when nobody's showing up.
I am totally against recalls.
Yeah, they didn't get the votes the first time. Fuck them.
That's right.
And they were, I keep telling you guys, at Safeway, I swear, right after Newsom got in office, they already had a table there doing a recall.
Oh, it was down here too, Brian. It was down here.
Those guys are getting paid good money to get those signatures. They get about $5 a signature.
Well, what are the thoughts out there? Is the recall going to work? No. By the way, folks, for all of you in the rest of the country who don't know what we're talking about, they have a recall of the governor. Okay, it's a recall election. And here's how it runs. This is the goofiness of it all. It asks, do you want to recall the governor? And then you go yes or no. If you go yes, then you go down to the next level, and there are a bunch of people running for governor. Okay, and so you then fill that out, and the person, not who gets 50%, but gets the most votes, wins. They could get 5% of the vote, and there are 50 other people running, and the guy gets 5 50% of the vote, it's a winner.
Yeah, but if the no not to recall gets more than the yes, then they don't.
Then it's over.
Yeah, then it's over. And you've just spent what, $150 million? How much did you say?
215 at this point.
$215 million. Wow.
So
Wow.
whoever's paying, whoever's paying those signature grabbers, that should be illegal because.
Listen, the whole concept is wrong, and it's wrong because it's what I call buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible and horrendous.
If the guy has done something criminal, arrest him. If he hasn't, vote him out of office when he comes up for re-election.
Well, I kept saying about, and I hate to go back to Cuomo, but okay, you don't like what he did, you think it's horrible, you think it's terrible, he's got 1 year left in office, and then he has to run again. And he may not even get nominated to run again because of this, all right? Or he may decide not to run again. But, why waste the state's money going through a whole bunch of legal processes when you could just wait out a year and just, goodbye, see you later, pal.
But if things are bad enough, they need to get him out. If things were, what else?
If they were,
there has to be a line drawn somewhere, right?
Well, I mean, if they were so toxic that they had to stop him from raping again, okay, but it's not that terrible, It's not that egregious. It's not comfortably nice,
Right.
It's negative behavior, but it isn't. It doesn't rise to that level. Is what I'm saying. All I was saying last night. And my only argument in the whole thing was that we cannot equate this. This is carrying with it kind of the same penalty that you get if you're a movie actor who gets accused of this stuff and then never gets to work again. I mean, I don't know. I just think there's a certain fairness in this world, and I think that what he did was terrible, and. If he did I don't think he did all the things that they've claimed, but I think he did a great majority of them. And yes, it's bad taste. It's egregious. It's makes for a toxic work environment. And yes, he's been a bad governor. Okay, so
the main problem is that he did it in a work environment.
Yeah,
and I was in that management situation too,
right.
And I was told straight up, you get in that situation, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
No, and I think most people who work...
In most cases, if you're accused of that situation, you're done.
Most people who work in companies, in corporations and so on, and are in a position of strength, as it were, I'm sure do not go along with this kind of behavior. Even if they used to, even if they used to be that kind of boss, well, they're not anymore. Because they
I had
know
some pretty close calls myself. I mean, I had to discipline a female, and it was pretty scary sometimes when I had to discipline a female because you have to shut the door. You have to tell them what they did wrong. You have to.
Wait a minute. When you shut the door, wait a minute. When you shut the door, don't you have to have somebody in the room with you to make sure that it's
dark?
Well, I had somebody on the phone. But there was nobody there with me.
Right.
But they start crying, and then you want to console them and just tell them, this will be going away. But the whole thing is, but you can't get up and tell them that, and you can't touch them, and you can't put your arm around them and say, it's okay. You gotta step back and hold back on all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because a manager in California goes through 4 hours of this training just to be a manager in sexual harassment. You know about it probably, Brian.
Every year, actually, we have ours coming up right now.
It's 4 hours of this stuff, and it's absolutely crazy stuff.
Yeah.
You can't even breathe wrong.
Yeah, when I was younger, I started supervising when I was young, and even with interviews, we have people would close the shades during interviews. I would leave them open. There's no way. Even my office has blinds in them. I have them all the way up.
Yep.
If I had to reprimand or someone to talk to, I had them in that room with HR all the time because, man, all you need is one time. And all the years I was supervising, and I could have got, if somebody accused me of something.
They can accuse you, and it gets ugly.
Yeah.
Right away.
I had a producer who I won't say her name because I'm going to just say very nice things about her, but just one of the nicest, sweetest, most wonderful people that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. And we had our falling outs over the years and so on. But she was, I would have to say, without question, one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen in my life.
I know who you're talking about.
Guys would come into my studio.
Mm-hmm.
And their tongues would be hanging out. She was so drop dead.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and you would agree with me?
Oh yeah, I had a big crush on her. Everyone liked your other female worker, but yeah. I always liked.
Yeah.
She Mrs. F, right?
Yes.
I was in love with her. Yes.
Yeah, she was gorgeous. Never
Brian,
once.
You work there or something?
Wait a minute. What?
No. But when I used to go there, I used to go to the studio audience,
never in my whole time of working with this woman did I ever come on to her, and there was a good reason for it. The reason was I so appreciated the job she did, and the relationship I had with her as a working relationship that I never, Another good example would be my newswoman, Lori Thompson. Attractive woman. Everybody thought we had something going. Yeah. Everybody thought that because we did this show every morning and we always talk with each other, we must have something going. Listen, we went to Spain together, then I took her to Ibiza, and we took one hotel room because there was only one available, and we slept in the same bed together every night, and nothing happened. Why? Because I appreciated her more as a working partner than I did for any momentary, sexual encounter we might have that would forever ruin our relationship. And that was before they would go ahead and give me a bad time for it. But I'm saying I've always been very respectful of that. The only women that I would have a relationship with were women that had nothing to do with the radio stations, nothing to do with the show. Yes, Kevin.
But you know what? And that was back in the 80s, right? 80s, early 90s?
Oh, no, this was early.
Yeah, it was the 80s, yeah.
Wait a minute. Yeah, 80s.
Yeah. So there were different times, number one. Number two, if that was today, all she would have to do is say, well, he was in bed with me, and you'd be done.
Period. That's true.
Period.
That's true.
You'd be done.
True. Yeah. Today I would have to think twice.
And nothing would have happened.
Yeah.
You'd be done.
Well, let's go get a cheaper hotel somewhere,
Yeah, right.
You could imagine.
But that's the difference.
With this beautiful woman that you never touched, never slept with, nothing. When you get home and you're in privacy, if God didn't want man to jack off, he would have made his arms shorter.
Okay. Anyway,
what I was trying to say is you can fantasize having sex with her.
All I'm saying, this woman was so gorgeous that, quite frankly, she could have any man she wanted, and the last one she would probably want was me. Okay, so why should I even try? So. But all I'm saying is that the point is that you don't have it's the old line about you don't shit where you eat, you don't have sex at work. It never is a good idea. It's a terrible idea.
Pen in the company ink,
yeah. Don't put your pen in the company inkwell, I think is the term. Yes, and so I always made it a policy never to have sex with people who I worked with. It didn't make sense.
Sure, a lot of the men were happy.
Huh? Yeah.
I'm trying to make it funny. I said I'm sure a lot of the men were happy.
And also, if you really like the person you're working with and you have a good working relationship, you don't want to ruin that. You know, but I mean, what he did, and I'm sure that Cuomo, at the very least, was flirtatious, and at the very most was a little, shall we say, in bad taste or obnoxious. But I don't think it rose to the level of. In fact, except for the state trooper where he ran the finger down the back, and one woman who said he put his hand up my blouse. None of them, all of them are just saying he made me feel uncomfortable by telling me I was wearing a nice dress that day, or he made me feel uncomfortable because of this or that. That's all of them except for two of them. Two of them are slightly more offensive. Okay.
But see, if they got the same training we did, that's exactly what it is. And if he got that training, he fucked up. Plain and simple.
The question is, did he get the training? Or because he was
I'm
the
sure
governor?
he did. New York's right there with California.
Really? They would have sat him down in a room and said, here are the rules.
I mean, they tell you in this whole thing that, if you're even complimenting someone on the dress they're wearing, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You can't even really tell a woman that comes to work she looks nice. You're afraid to do that now. And whether it's right or wrong, you can't do that now.
Yeah, I don't know how kids are going to have girlfriends.
Right?
I don't know how.
Like Alex talks about, you got to make the first move sometime, right?
You don't have a son, do you, Kevin? No.
I have a son.
Oh, you have a son? Yeah.
Yeah.
How's he going to get laid in this world? I mean,
he's married. He's married and got 3 kids.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the best way to handle it.
Yeah.
That's why my son has had 2 girlfriends so far in the last 3 months, and they're all gamers. He's never met them in person. They're all on the video game. He had one in Canada and that one in San Francisco. He actually saw that one.
But here's my question. I mean, today, if you're going to go out on a date, you probably have to sign like the equivalent of a prenup or something.
It's got to be hard. I mean,
it's got to be very difficult. Yes, John.
I just had to fill out a bunch of paperwork for my job at the Warfield and the Orpheum,
Mm-hmm.
and they got like, it's all these rules, about how you're dealing with the
patrons,
the patrons and stuff, and I didn't even read it. It's too thick. I'm just gonna show them their fucking seats.
Yeah, but you got to sign all that stuff beforehand too. You're right.
I know.
You got to cover your ass when you first get a job here in California.
Yeah,
you're signing yourself up for that stuff.
Oh already. Man, it's like about that thick of just shit that you got to sign. About 100 different forms.
Well, you know what?
You can't touch them when you're showing them your seat. You can't say that's a nice dress you have on when you're showing them the seat.
I got to tell you something. Why are they doing this? Are they doing this because they feel they want to protect their patrons and they don't want any hanky-panky going on? Or are they doing it because they don't want their company to be in litigation?
That's the reason.
That's the only reason. It's not for any wonderful reason that they believe that, we need to protect our patrons or we need to protect
they will tell you that
workers.
It's for that reason, but it's for litigation.
It's totally for litigation.
Yep. They will tell you they want, they're in with the new times and that it's going to be, we're respecting everyone, but it's all about not being in court.
Yeah, exactly.
What am I supposed to say? What if some ladies, some old hag coming up to me and saying, hey, cowboy, you want to go out and have a drink? What am I supposed to say?
You can turn around and do it back. You can say, I'm being sexually harassed.
By a client? I mean, by a patron?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Every case.
Goes both ways, buddy.
What's going to happen to flirtation, pursuit, romance, all those things?
It's got to happen out on the street.
It's got to happen out on the street, and then when it happens out on the street, you better be careful.
What about Kevin? What about in social media? You meet a woman on social media, and she sends you pictures, not nude, nothing twisted, and she sends you a picture of she's in a nice blouse or something. you can compliment her that way over social media without a problem, right?
If she doesn't work for you, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Okay.
No, nobody from work is on my Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have any. I used to have 2 separate Facebooks. Now I have one. I don't have anybody.
Well, some of that old car stuff you post to be
Car porn.
car porn.
But my question is now, who has to be more careful? This is one of the things that's bothering me because I consider this sexism. Who needs to be worried more? The men working at a company or the women in power who are working at a company?
Either one. It's the bosses.
It's the bosses, but I'm saying if a guy says, my boss, who's a woman, raped me, they're not going to believe him as much as they're going to believe a woman who says it, and they're going to believe the woman over the guy denying it.
They have to believe it. They have to. They're gonna follow what they train you in, they have to believe it.
Yeah, they take it very seriously now.
They do.
Yeah, no matter who.
Because I had that situation. The guy was gay, and there was a situation there where the guy was getting hassled by somebody else, and I had to take that into my hands and forward it on to HR.
Yeah, they do full investigations.
Be careful how you say that. Take it into your hands.
Well,
and what happens? And what happens at companies? Okay, a lot of people, if you ask them, "Where'd you meet your wife?" they say, "Well, we used to work together." You know, right? Okay, is that off the table now? I mean,
supposed to be. Nepotism is supposed to be signed off when you get in there. You know,
oh God,
right?
I knew her before. Yes.
That's the thing, you know. The company I worked for, people were there for 30 years.
Yeah.
And my wife worked there for 20, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just the whole, maybe it's just because I'm old. Okay, I'm really old, folks. All right. And it just doesn't seem, any of it seems right to me. You know, I mean, I don't know that I would want to live in this world today or be coming up in this world today, because the rules are all cattywampus, you know. And I used to like romance, pursuit, you know, taking a woman and wooing her, as the term used to be, you know, taking her out to dinner, getting to know her, getting flirtatious with her. I used to like that whole process. I think we all did. You know, it was a very nice, warm feeling when finally two people kind of struck it up right together. You know?
Yep.
And I don't know.
You can't do it at work.
But you can't do it at work.
You can't do it at work. Correct.
Tony?
You know what I was going to say? I was thinking about this whole Cuomo thing even deeper with the diehard Democrats. None of you guys, I'm just saying in general. They all, and I really don't, they all applauded Bill Clinton. That when she came forward and he had the affair, I don't see any of these people posting on your page, he's a pig. He served 2 terms.
Well,
and he's like their saint.
Look, you know,
you follow what I'm saying? Did he take what you got and use it? I mean,
where Clinton was concerned, again, I'm not going to come down on the side of the woman, but I think that she pursued him. Okay,
but you don't see them killing Clinton over it though. Like he abused his power.
Yeah, but I mean, she pursued him, but then again, he was using government property to get laid. You know,
I mean, and I'm not trying to string them up, but they should be really. How come they're not so
cool it? Adrian just came in the room.
Oh, sorry.
You see her in back? You see her in the back? You see her? There we go.
You say hi, or am I gonna lock you out? Come here, say hi quick.
They're coming out with a new version of Where's Waldo called Where's Adrian?
Hey,
you know.
Say hi.
Hey there, Adrian. How you doing, kiddo?
Oh, over there. What?
Hey, hi. Right here.
Hi. This is valuable time. Alex's last night on here. Say hi. Why? No, he says that all the time. Say hi. Say hi. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Nah, she's too stuck up to talk to us.
You know something? Besides being a great kid, she's cool. Oh, okay, go.
She has my sense of humor for sure. Bye-bye. She does. She has these funny things she does, and it just amazes me, and it's so hysterical.
I would tell her she was looking particularly cute today, but I don't want to get hit with all kinds of suits and everything. You know? I don't want to be dragged into HR. No, I mean it's just I don't know, you know.
But Alex, you believe in those. I mean, when I listen to you, and I listen to you now when you talk about the situations you were in when you were younger, and even when you were in power and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, you abide by those rules naturally. So
well, nobody had to tell me that those things were right or those things were wrong. Okay. And let's face it, no matter how many rules we make, there are still going to be people who take advantage of women in that way. Yep. And what do we say about the women, though? You take somebody like Harvey Weinstein, okay? Terrible. Used his power. Perfect example of using your power to bully someone into having sex with you, okay? Or doing sexual favors. And yet, how many of them did it because they were looking for a part? Yeah. And so the question is, do I have to particularly feel sorry for them because they were trying to use Harvey as well? They knew what they were doing, and they were willing to suck his dick or whatever in order to get a part. Well, what do you have to say about them? You know? Oh, the poor girl.
Not all of them. I mean, not the ones that...
not all of them?
Well, not the ones that brought charges against him. I mean, I'm sure he got laid from his position, from his power.
Well, no, he a lot of these women who refused him or were raped by him were then put on an off list in Hollywood by him. He made it impossible for them to get parts, and that was really what was terrible. You know, it was bad enough that this big fat fuck, you know.
Yeah. He can do that with the other studios, then, Alex. Like, how would the other studios, you think, not hire than that? Because he could probably just say she's a problem or something. I wonder how that.
Well, they just passed.
He just had connections. He would just say, "Don't hire this actress.
Don't hire her. Don't hire her."
Mara Sorvino.
Mara Sorvino was out of work for a lot of years because she refused to do anything. Right?
She won an Oscar, didn't she? And then she
couldn't
she won an Oscar.
Mighty Aphrodite, I think.
Yeah. And that, I think, was that a Weinstein? No, that wasn't a Weinstein film.
Woody Allen.
Well, it was Woody Allen, but I'm trying to think of Weinstein.
Oh yeah, who? I don't know who worked. Yeah, I like Woody's films. He's starting to grow on me a little bit.
Yeah, but you know, Woody's got problems now too.
I know. You think that's all true, Alex?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I absolutely don't.
He seems pretty laid back.
Look, everybody wants to feel that, he must have done that. See how weird he is in his movies?
I think.
Well, you know, he plays nebbishy, weird characters in the movies, but, I mean, I don't think that that's his nature. Okay?
I don't think. At least when
he even said it. He said, look, if I molested young girls, don't you think I would have done it before this? And don't you think I would have done it somewhere else other than up at the house of an ex-girlfriend who hates me?
That is true. And nobody's ever came forward on him. He's not like they're making like he's Polanski.
Well, it's a damn Ronan Farrow, who's a mama's boy, and you know.
He's got a weird face. I was trying to watch that show. He's kind of like a liar face, Farrow.
Oh, he
seems like a snake.
Terrible. He is. I think he is.
I think Roman Polanski's a piece of shit.
He makes good movies, so I gotta say.
Roman Polanski is a piece of shit?
Yes.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because he raped a young girl.
He didn't rape her. It was consensual.
It was consensual. You were there? It was consensual, but it was rape because she was underage.
Yeah, right.
And
it was at Jack Nicholson's house.
And he made a deal with. Here's what happened. He made a deal with the DA. Just to give you the shorthand of this, he made a deal with the DA that if he pleaded guilty, they would give him time served. Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Why did he leave the country?
Because he pleaded guilty, and then they wanted to arrest him and put him back in jail.
Yeah,
they didn't live up to they didn't live up to the deal they made with him.
They reneged on him. You know, they made him a deal and then they changed.
So he admitted to something, which of course violates your rights. You're giving up your rights when you do that, And then they said, "Oh well, all bets are off. You're going to jail because you just admitted to it."
Yeah.
And that's when he got on a plane and left the country.
Yep.
You know, and he's had many times when he's asked to come back, and they've said, "Well, you come back first, and then we'll let you know whether we're gonna." And he says, "Come on, you know." I mean, he'd love to come back here.
Was he out of country on this deal when his wife was murdered?
No, he was here. He was here when that happened.
Yeah.
He was here when Sharon.
That's
Tate
perhaps what set him off to be.
When Sharon Tate was murdered, that happened way before the deal with.
And I think it weirded him out a lot. And this whole thing with the younger girl was part of that getting weirded out. Because it wasn't his nature either.
I guess I got to Google him.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he directed Chinatown, he wasn't under arrest.
No. Oh no. But he did win an Academy. He did win an Academy Award for Best Director while he was out of the country. You know.
Yep.
Chinatown.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Good movie. Good movie.
Yep.
You know what's a great movie, and I still get scared. Me and my mother watched it once.
Poltergeist?
That Rosemary's Baby, those actors in that movie, that scares the shit out of me. Yeah, I told Shaggy once when I tried watching it, I got to turn the lights on. Even it was just scary. The last scene in that.
You know, Tony, you're weird.
Anyway, I was scared of the movie, Alex.
Huh?
I was scared because it was so well acted at the end. That last scene when I don't know who the old man is. The actor. He was like the leader of the Covenant, the clan. Like
Coven,
it was
the Coven.
Becoming, I had this go. That guy was so good in that last scene. I said, "Oh, this is scary." I said,
"No, it was a very good movie." Polanski was a very good. Polanski was a very good director, and it's a shame, you know what? Luckily, he's been able to go to Europe and still make good films. So that's the positive on it. It's just that it's our loss and Europe's gain. And he can travel anywhere in Europe now. They tried to make it so that he couldn't. He could get arrested if he went to like one country or another, and they said, nah, you know, they decided they couldn't get him that far away, so he can go anywhere. He can, and he's an old guy now. I don't know how many more movies he's got left in him, you know. So
how old is he?
One thing.
Oh God, I think he's got to be in his 80s. What?
One thing tonight that was sort of uncomfortable was I was watching Chris Cuomo, and I'm assuming this is like one of the top stories, right?
Yeah.
He sat there and talked about American Got Talent singer who has cancer and she's not going to be singing on the program anymore. So he spent a half hour talking about.
Well, you know,
that.
he's in a lot of trouble too, because they're saying that he was consulting his brother on how to handle the whole situation, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's his brother, for crying out loud. I mean, you can't even be brotherly anymore without getting in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, it's now guilt by association. I mean, he probably told his brother, look, stick to your guns, don't admit to anything, and, you know, whatever. Brothers talk to each other. They have the right to do this. It's like the time, I'll tell you quickly, my mother was still working at the KMEL doing her weekly show, and I left there, and they were threatening to sue me and things like that. And my lawyer said to me, your mother still has a show on KMEL, doesn't she? I said, yeah. He said, don't talk to her.
Oh, how do you not talk to your mother?
Exactly. How do you not talk to your mother? Okay? But it's a perfect example. Like, hey, don't talk to your brother. He's in trouble. You know. Hey, you know, Jeff, you haven't said anything tonight, I don't think. Have you?
Probably because he's muted.
Yeah, he is muted. But why don't you say goodbye, Jeff? You know, you're muted.
Goodbye, Jeff.
There you go. There we go.
I love just having you there, you know. You're like one of the squares on the beginning of the Brady Bunch. Thank you very much, Alex, for being here tonight. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate it when you heard me. And of course, John, and then also Kevin, because both Kevin and Brian came on here because they heard what was going on earlier. And
we had to save the show.
They had to save the show. Well,
Kevin and I.
Well, you did it, and I
Good job,
appreciate
Kevin.
it. What else are friends for, right?
You're welcome. Millions of viewers. You're welcome.
Yeah, everybody. Why don't you give them all a big wave goodbye, and I'll give you, of course, the wave goodbye back. There we go. No, big wave goodbye back, and we'll see them all later. Okay? Maybe tomorrow night. I'm back here. Anyway, we'll take a break here and go off for 22 hours, something like that. What was it? 22 hours, yeah. And then we'll be back tomorrow night, 10 o'clock, 10:30. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? And please, get vaccinated, okay?